I'm going to take you through a few things that the charity's been up to in the last 12 months, so that you're all up to date with where we're at, okay? So, this is our structure now, which some people might be a bit surprised at how large our structure is. But we've grown considerably. So we've obviously have our board of trustees as a charity, but we have an audit committee and they audit all our finances on a regular basis. We have our newly formed medical and scientific panel, and they've been supporting us with some of the publications. There was a new piece that was put out that I put a post out on the Facebook group around fantastic understanding of ALK Positive and all it is. So for any of you science nerds out there, it's a brilliant paper for you to read. If you're not scientifically bent, then I wouldn't, because you're going to go down in it. But anyway, we've got a great support team in the background. We have a creative designer who does all our creatives now, and also we have dedicated support for some of our social media. We've got a DVLA panel, and I'll come on to them a bit later on. And then we have clinical advisors as well that keep us on the straight and narrow. So, in terms of funding, I thought people might want a bit of an update. So we've got very low overheads for a charity. We don't have any staff, so we've got no one on payroll, and we've got no premises. So we really do keep things to a minimum. We use agencies and contractors, so we're then engaged for just specific pieces of work. So we're not paying anyone if they're not doing anything. So, we've had amazing fundraising by members, families and friends, and I can't thank you enough because majority of you are in the room today, so thank you so much. It really does allow us to do all the things that we do. And we've also had grants from pharmaceutical companies. So Takeda and Roche have funded this weekend, which has been fantastic. I think, you'd agree. So that's enabled us all to stay over and really spend some time getting to know each other. We wouldn't have been able to do that without their funding. But we do need a more secure financial base. We would like to grow to the next level, and make sure that we can get all ALK positive patients across the UK. According to Professor Popat, he believes there's about 5,000 in the UK. So we're still only scratching at the surface, really, at the moment. But in order to do that, we need a more secure platform. And we did launch our Many More Promise standing order appeal. So that will be ongoing now for anybody that wants to give a regular donation to the charity. So I thought it would be useful to share some information about our membership. I mean, it's great to see that it's still growing. And we thought we'd share the differences in terms of members pre and post pandemic. We're still not back up to those pre-pandemic numbers, but we're getting there. And I'm sure you all know our vision by now. We want everyone to receive the best care, to live their best lives, and to live as long as possible. And we believe that by joining the support group and getting the information around scanning and blood tests and brain MRIs, that will keep people alive for longer, whilst the scientists are developing the new treatments for us. So what support do we offer? People might just know about the Facebook group. So that's obviously a major part of it. We used to have patient forums twice a year. Obviously we've had the pandemic and we haven't done anything for a couple of years, which is why we've come back this year with 2.5-day conference. So what we need to decide, and we'll be putting a poll out to you guys in a few days' time, is what you want to do next year, and the format for that. And we see more and more local get-togethers, where I know there's a great group in the southwest. I can't see Tracy. There she is. And she's leading the way there. So she's got her own little coffee group, or is it lunch now, I think? Yeah, I thought so, yeah. So 9 members of their local meetup group. So there you are. There's a challenge for some of you. You know, it's a great opportunity just to catch up and have a chat. So anyway, we're hoping to see more as a result of the conference today, because now more people know more people. We do online coffee mornings. It's the last Wednesday of the month, where you can talk about anything you like. So you can ask ALK questions if you want, but equally if you want to talk about what's on the TV, then you're welcome to do that as well. So, but everyone's welcome. You just bring your own tea and biscuits. We do an online fitness class, so I'll put that out there now. So there's a number of us in the room who are regular attenders of that. Judy, there she is. Judy is so dedicated. She not only turns up every Friday, but we record the sessions, but she actually goes online to find previous sessions and does them in the week. I mean, star pupil or what? None of us, the rest of us can't compete, but yeah. So anyone's welcome to join, any level of fitness. Don't let, you think, oh God, that's fitness class, I can't do that. We've got one member who started, he's not here today, but he could only do the exercises from a chair. And Carol adapted all the exercises. He's now improved his fitness and he now does them standing up. So they do work. They will get you, up and about. So it's worth considering those. And they're on a Friday morning at 10:30, isn't it? Yeah, I wish it was a bit later, but there we are. And we also will support with one-to-one, with email, telephone, and we've got the back phone now with a dedicated number. So if anybody wants to contact us, then hopefully you can find the number. I've now let myself down because I don't even know what the number is. But it's there on the website, or text messages. So hopefully you all feel supported. So in terms of the empowerment, we provide lots of booklets on the website that you can either download or you can ask for copies of. And we've got the majority of the resources on our website are available in hard copy. So we produce leaflets for you to take into your centres and to encourage your nurses to make sure that all their outpatients are being encouraged to join the support group. We've got Ask the Expert video sessions that are on the website, so you can go back and see previous talks. So you saw Tom Newson-Davis and Alistair Greystoke yesterday. Alistair's spoken for us before. Tom has as well. And there's a host of other speakers that we've had in the past that you can go sit down in your own time and review those sessions. And there's a host of other information on the website. We try and keep it as up to date as possible. I don't know, any of you regular visitors to our website? I got 2 nods over there. Fantastic. Oh, I got a 3, I got a 4, I got a 5. I didn't expect, we're not going to get to double numbers, are we? No, okay, fine, I'll settle for 5 at this stage. Maybe when we come back, I'll have 10, we'll go for that. So these are some of our publications, just as you can see. 2 of them, the writing's too small, but 2 of them have appeared in peer-reviewed journals. So that means they are in the journals that oncologists are reading. And the latest one was around the need for a national guideline for the management of ALK positive. And we used our data to demonstrate there is a need. So in terms of advocacy, so between us, we hold a wealth of real-world data. And actually, it's really valuable. And other healthcare professionals and pharma companies really want to see real-world data. And it's anonymized. I mean, we put it together in graphs and then we submit it at most of the oncology conferences around the world, and it does get picked up. But it's, you know, so we know how patients are diagnosed, the treatments they receive, and the effects of those treatments, and that's what some of the companies are really interested in. So this is some of the data we've now got, anonymized, please be assured, in terms of, you know, information that is actually really valuable to pharma and to clinicians to understand, well, what is happening with, you know, with ALK positive patients. To give you an example, we submitted a paper on side effects to the World Lung Cancer Conference earlier this year, and it was seen by some Canadians, and they've now asked me to present to a bunch of them in Quebec on our data, on how we found out the data, and it's all around about side effects of the different treatments and such. So our name is getting out there, and the more, you know, so, and then what happens is Canadian oncologists talk to, you know, UK oncologists, and it reaffirms that we're a great, authentic support group that's providing valuable information, and so it will encourage more oncologists to refer their patients to us, because they've got that, you know, that evidence that we produce good information. So every few years we send out a major survey. We try and limit the number of times we do it, because it is a lot of questions, but we do short surveys as well throughout that time. And there's about 90 people who are regularly, consistently can be relied upon to do the surveys. We need more members, because actually the more numbers you get behind a survey, the more, what's the word I'm looking for? The more robust the data is for scientists to appreciate. So we really would encourage all members to complete these surveys. The short ones, their maximum is 10 minutes, and I mean that. The larger one, okay, it's a good 20 minutes, but that's only every couple of years. So, you know, please, that's a plea from me for everybody to do the surveys. I thought it would be you to be interested to see in the sorts of organisations that we work with. We were approached by NICE last month to help them with a submission for a new medication for RET lung cancer. So I had to go back and say, I'm really sorry, we don't have anybody with RET. And they said, no, that's fine, but we'd appreciate if you could actually give us an overview of what it's like to live with oncogene-driven lung cancer. So we've really established ourselves as a bona fide, you know, charity and ALK positive area of expertise leading into oncogene-driven lung cancers. So the charity's really embedded itself very nicely in with the NHS. The DVLA, our DVLA panel, where are they? Because they do need some recognition. Please stand up. We've got one here, Duncan. We've got one here. And we've got one of these chaps. So we've got Paul Cooper. We've got Ian, thank you. It's my memory. It's not. And Duncan. These guys have worked tirelessly for about 2 years now, to maybe longer, to try and get the guidance changed by the DVLA. Sorry, you can sit down now, guys. You're looking really uncomfortable there. Sorry to put you on the spot. But, you know, we all know that, you know, the guidance previously was 2 years without a license if you develop brain mets. That is a long time, you know, for us to lose our license. So in the interim, so about a year ago, they reduced the time span to a year. if you were stable, which is a fantastic, reduction. But they've now got the DVLA to agree to review their guidance. They shared our data. So again, through one of the surveys that we did, asking people with brain mets if they'd ever had any seizures, we were able to demonstrate that nobody had, and that was really strong information to take to the DVLA, because they didn't have any counter argument, because they didn't, their decision was an arbitrary one. So actually, we were in a very strong position to say, here's the data that it's safe, and we're safe to drive. So they've agreed to review the information and the guidance that they give, which is fantastic. So they'll continue their endeavours, and hopefully at the next meeting we'll have maybe even further great news. So, but these guys are working tirelessly behind the scenes. We work with, we support the British Thoracic Oncology at their conference every year, and we've, as was demonstrated yesterday, we've done some work with Pfizer, developing some resources. We're developing some mental health resources with Roche that should be available by the end of the year. And also there's a set of videos coming out from the Maudsley that we've worked with Takeda on, again, around mental health and managing to stay mentally healthy whilst living with lung cancer. And yes, we did have that meeting, and I will expand on it a little bit more. We had a meeting with Nuvalent last week, and we'll be in regular dialogue with their chief medical officer. They were very positive about coming to the UK, so it was great to hear that there won't just be one site at the Marsden. There will be a site at the Christie at the same time, and they will be looking at other sites. I will share with you, because you need to know this stuff. They did approach a centre in Scotland, and they said they were too busy. So and I think you need to know this stuff, because I think that's terrible. For someone to say, well, we're a bit busy. Aren't we all? But there we are. So they will endeavour to try again, and also other sites around the country. But what they have said is they will pay travel expenses, which is different to the US, because I know a lot of the trials that people attend in the US, they have to self-fund their own expenses. Nuvalent will cover all travel expenses. So if you're in the southwest, deep in darkest Cornwall, and you need to go on the trial at the Marsden, they will pay all your travel costs to go to the Marsden and back, and any accommodation you need whilst you're taking part in the trial. Because they do say week 1 of every month is a little bit more intensive, so you will require an overnight. But that overnight will actually be in hospital, just monitoring you. But they sounded incredibly positive, and they wanted to be here, and at the moment it's only been delayed through the UK's regulatory bodies. That's what's holding things up. They're absolutely ready to get going. So yeah, if we get any further updates, we'll let you know, obviously, okay? But I thought that was really encouraging, that straight away they were going to go with 2 sites, and they possibly would have gone with 3. So in terms of networking, these are some of the organisations we're members of. So we're quite busy in the background, keeping tabs with this lot, and making sure that any decisions they make or any policies they take forward, they consider non-smoking lung cancer. We have to take a bit of a broader view on some of them. United Kingdom will put it, UKLCC rather, putting forward a piece to NHS England, and we wrote back to them and said, well, non-smoking lung cancer needs to be included and to be considered in this document, because we make up 20% between all the mutations, and so they did. So we just keep an eye on them and make sure that non-smoking lung cancer doesn't get forgotten in anything. So NHS England, interestingly, we've been approached to take part in a study with circulating tumour DNA. So it's, you know, cutting edge stuff, and we'll keep you informed. It's only in the early stages. We've been asked if we would like to be one of the contributors, and we've said yes, of course. And so we wait for further meetings now to understand what that will involve and what that project looks like in its entirety. So we'll keep you up to date on that one, but I thought that one was quite exciting. So what's new this year? Our publication for need for national guidelines. We had a publication on biomarkers, we had publication on side effects, publication on the early diagnosis. Well, this is due out any time now. We've written a piece on, we did the See Through the Symptoms campaign, and there are a few people in the room. Who's it here? Debbie, you're here. Where are you? Just put your hand up there. Debbie took part in that, and 3 other members from the charity, where we did a full digital campaign to GPs to raise awareness of non-smoking lung cancer and what the symptoms are, to encourage them to send patients sooner for investigations. So as soon as they saw someone with persistent symptoms, instead of maybe 2 antibiotics, an inhaler and pain meds and various other things, actually after the first set of antibiotics, if it wasn't cleared up, then send them for an X-ray just to rule out lung cancer was really the message. And that went down very well. We achieved an impression, is the phrase they use in the digital world. I'm now talking about something I have absolutely no knowledge of at all. And trying to sound intelligent. We hit 4.2 million impressions. Please tell me that's good. You're IT. So we're looking at how we can keep that alive. That we were very lucky. We had an agency that worked for nothing on that, and they provided £400,000 worth of work for free. Obviously, which is quite a lot. We're now looking at ways of keeping that alive. We're in talks with a lot of cancer alliances to give them that resource that they can actually use locally, so we can keep the message going. So we're hopefully doing a real world data project with the Christies. They've just put in the funding. If they get the funding, then that project will take place. So we've been in talks with the Christies over that one. As I said, we've got joint projects with Takeda, Roche and Pfizer. That's all developing resources for our benefit. So they should all be available by the end of the year. Obviously, we're at our first national conference. We were instrumental in setting up the Oncogene-driven Lung Cancer Patient Alliance. Do you like the snappy title? We recognise that there's strength in numbers, and we are pretty small. And actually, when we work closely with EGFR, and a lot of the stuff that we do, they replicate. And so actually, we can work more efficiently by working closer together, and we can share best practices. We can pool resources if we need to, and we can start also having a bigger voice, which will help drive change in the oncogene-driven lung cancer world faster. So it won't impact any of you guys. It won't impact the ALK support group or the ALK charity in any way. It's a separate organisation, but it's one that we're driving forward as well in the background. We had a vision of contacting all oncologists and lung cancer nurses in the UK. We're partly through that work. Lois, where is she? Lois has been, what a thankless tasks she took on was to try and fill a spreadsheet with all the names of the lung cancer oncologists and nurses across the UK. If any of you have ever tried to find, an oncologist or any hospital doctor, it's incredibly difficult. So Lois is partway through. I won't hold her to any particular percentage. Partway through, yes, but has done a phenomenal job doing that, and that will enable us to go directly to these healthcare professionals, and again raise awareness of the charity and encourage them to send more ALK patients to us, and then we can make sure that they're on the right pathways and such. And yes, and this ctDNA NHS Genomic Medicine Service Project, again, a nice snappy title. We're waiting for further details on it, but we're part of it. So this is the big news for this one. We are launching a new service, free service for anybody with ALK positive lung cancer and their close families. We are launching our Living with ALK Life Coach service. And I'd like to introduce you to our Living with Life Coach. Try saying that after a few. And it's Jane Woods. Here she is, ladies and gentlemen. So Jane's going to give us a great introduction to what she can do to help us with a session later on this morning. So you'll hear more from Jane, and then we will also post out details of how you can make contact with her if you wish to engage her services. Okay. And then so we've done a lot, as you can see. I hope you agree that we've done quite a bit. We've still got a way to go. There is still too much variation in the standard of care across the UK, and we know that and we see that. There's still too many late diagnoses that we need to bring forward, and there's still too many patients not aware of the benefits that membership to the support group and the charity can bring. So we've still got quite a lot of work to do. However, I want to thank you for everything that you've done this year and for your support to date, and hope that we will continue together on improving things. So thanks very much, guys. And we're ahead of time. Ooh, isn't that good? So has anyone got any questions on what they've seen up here this morning? I'm happy. Yes, Andy. Yes. No, they haven't. They've been collecting lots of money, and I think what they wanted was to have a good bucket of money before they then went forward. They are now looking at areas of research. I don't know what's happened there. Working with cancer research and others to look at, well, what area of research should they do? Should they take on? Yeah, they do need to. There's something going wrong with this.
Hello. So we've got a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old who struggled quite a bit with the diagnosis and everything, and we, on your recommendation, we contacted the Ruth Strauss Foundation. They were really good. So we got one-to-one advice, online advice, but they were thinking of piloting, which isn't quite research, but it's kind of that way. They're piloting kind of, my impression was that they were going to be kind of youth groups online across the country, and we'd offered our son was going to be part of it, but they didn't have enough take up of older, like 16 to 18-year-olds, but they're obviously thinking along those lines. So I know that's not research, but it's kind of you know, along, they are kind of improving, you know, they're doing more things all the time, aren't they?
They are,
Yeah.
and, you know, and I think, you know, where Andrew felt the easiest area to start was that family support, because Jenny, who had supported them, you know, and their family through his wife, through Ruth's death, Jenny agreed to, you know, to be part of their charity. So that was the easier area to get up and running first. I know they've had meetings with Marsden as well. So I think we'll see something more substantial coming out from Roosterhouse in terms of the research. Because I agree with you, I did expect to see something before now, yes, if I'm honest. So hopefully in 2023, we'll see something more concrete, yeah. Any other questions or anything? Yes?
What form do you think the trial of the NBL 655 is likely to be? Is it going to be first line or second line, or what do you think is most likely?
This is a phase 1, phase 2 trial. So this will be dose escalation to understand what the best dose is, and also what the maximum therapeutic levels will be that could be tolerated. What are the side effects that people will start to see? So it's not in the realms of a positioning for it yet. That's way too early. This is just phase 1, phase 2. Yeah.